I want this to be a very special video first. A somewhat special video. A few weeks ago, I watched this live stream or this video that was like an hour long on YouTube. I mostly listen to it and start watching it because I like to multitask a lot. So I would have a lot of other tabs open and I would be doing things on them while listening to this video. And it was about two Asian guys basically dissing and insulting incels that were Asian, of Asian origin and descent. I believe that it is unfair and wrong to insult these men because they have been dealt a very bad hand on life. If a rape victim complains and you won't tell that rape victim to stop complaining, you would encourage them to complain. You wouldn't just tell them that they're bitching and it makes them look like victims. Because in my eyes, Asian men are truly victims in this sense because they would be lesser chosen by women. Even Mike Chang, who was the inventor of that six-pack ab program on YouTube maybe a decade ago, he also said that Asian men are the least desired men. And in a sense, they clearly are the victims in this approach. Like, for a woman, even if they see a fit Asian man, they may not consider him to be good looking. If you watch X-Men Origins Wolverine, some people called the Korean actor that played Agent Zero the Korean Brad Pitt, but they would not choose him as a mate or as a love interest over Wolverine, who was played by Hugh Jackman, the guy that plays Victor Creed, the guy that plays Deadpool before he became a monster, and the guy that plays Gambit, or whoever had that spear and led Wolverine to that island. I think his name was Gambit, I'm not too sure if his name was that or not. Asian men get rejected based on not just how they look like their own female counterparts so much, but not in a good way, but by the fact that their height is on average far lesser than most men. Now, can we blame the fathers of these men? Can we blame their grandfathers? I don't think so, because they didn't know that this would happen. They probably didn't see that many people who were as tall as a lot of white men in America that are chosen by Asian women. The fathers of these Asian American men, or European Asian, any like Asian man that's descended from immigrants, Asian immigrants, they didn't realize that these things would happen. Their parents did not realize that these things would happen. But the Asian Americans themselves do understand that these things are happening. There are so many things for black men and white men, but there's like little to nothing for an Asian man. Think of this like from a woman's perspective. If you're an Asian American woman or any non-white woman, a non-white woman that is in America, Canada, or one of the Western countries, like the countries in the continent of Europe, what would you rather buy? An item that has been selling a lot and people know that it's of good usage and good quality, or would you rather buy an item that possibly could be of better usage and quality, but you don't know that for sure because lesser people have tried it out? Over here, it's just like it's basically white men and black men versus Asian men. White men and black men are known to be of good quality to women because they have tried them out a lot so they can confirm it. But they can't confirm it for an Asian man, even if an Asian man works out. You also have to take into factors the height of Asian men being so little, on average. Over here, you cannot blame the fathers or the grandfathers for choosing women that are like 4'10", 5'1", 5'2", because they may not have had an option because they grew up in times and married in times where technology wasn't that rapid. They probably never saw men that were like 6 foot or above or 5'10" or above. So when Asian men grow up to be like 5'3", 5'4", or 5'5", then it's something that they cannot control. They have been dealt a very bad hand in life. They have the right to complain about this. They have they've been royally fucked or screwed by society, by time, by fate, by destiny. Because there are a lot of things that are out of your control. But people bash Asian men for complaining about this. They insult them. When I say Asian men, I'm not talking about Indian men because Indians are not Asian. They don't count as Asian. Maybe you can label them as South Asian, but they're just not a part of the main group of Asians. I think Indian men have it worse off than Asian men do, though. Also, when it comes to high-end like nutrition, diets, whatever you need for like working out, 8 times out of 10 in Asian American households, you will find a mother or a woman, a matriarchy that is ruling the household. And sometimes she might give her son bad food, or she may not take the nutrition of her son or the life of her son as seriously as she would take the life of her daughters. She would tell her son to work for 800 weeks to get a woman that would mostly insult him or treat him as a loser, ignoring how there are some men who just need 1 minute and they can get things from women that this Asian man could never get. Of course, there are exceptions in the Asian American community for men, where there are a lot of men that might be successful, but at least 90% of them are not successful. They fail. And it's due to a combination of factors: height, genetic quality, mothers ruling the household, and fathers not teaching their sons anything. They grow up to become betas, and they have the right to complain about this because society has done this to them. They're not bitching. They're telling the truth. They're calling out society